So we've been using Amazon Workmail now since about 2016. From everything I can tell, it's sort of a clone or derivative of Microsoft Exchange technology from the Exchange email servers. And when you go to connect it, let's say to your smartphone, you use the Exchange protocol, or when you go to connect it to Microsoft Outlook, you use the Exchange protocol, and it works well. And the synchronization and things like that, there are a lot of advantages that it has over, let's say, the IMAP protocol, and other things. So I really like Workmail. Like I said, we migrated at the time. Our company was using Gmail for businesses, the corporate version of Gmail. But I don't even remember what the problems and limitations were that we had. But we actually moved over. There were some, and it was causing us problems. I just don't remember anymore what it was because it's been almost 10 years. But we moved over to a Workmail because we saw that basically we were getting, whether technically it's accurate or not, essentially we were getting a kind of a managed Exchange, Microsoft Exchange corporate email environment. And even though we're a small business, it really makes sense for us. And so we're happy with that. But one of the limitations is that Amazon does not support, at least they say they don't, connectivity with other calendar apps out there. So there are apps like Calendly. There are a lot of them really, but the one that we have adopted is cal.com, which I like. But the point is that if you go to Amazon's documentation, or the last time I checked, if you looked at Cal, or if you looked at Calendly or whatever, it did not have uh, like any kind of interface that was supported officially with Amazon Workmail. Now, we played around with it. One of the cool things about Cal is it's kind of like a partially open source type of thing, and so you can download the code and play with it on your own server. And we did that with we put it on a Microsoft Lightsail instance. It's hard to build out enterprise things that way because you can't use the API unless you're on their corporate plan. But still, their corporate plan is very reasonable for small businesses and such. And after doing some research, I personally like it better than Calendly and some of the other things that are out there. But whatever suits your needs, we're not really here to promote that. Even though I did have a good experience with them, I had a conversation once with one of the co-founders, and we don't have any relationship at all other than being a small business customer. I mean, we don't even spend $50 a month with them. But one of the things that we did is we did figure out, and it's actually surprisingly easy. I'm a publisher. I am not a coder or programmer, but I was actually able to figure out how to connect Amazon Workmail to cal.com. And so what you need to do is you need to, when you're setting it up so that it can connect with your scheduling or things like that. And I'll tell you, you know what we were going to do before? We were actually, I found an app out there, and I was actually synchronizing my desktop Microsoft Outlook with a Gmail calendar just so that we can do some of the other automations and things like that that we wanted to do. And it was a mess. I mean, you can get it to work, but it was really a clunky, not an ideal way to really put together a solution like this. So here's what we figured out. If we come into, and this is cal.com and may work with whatever other calendar apps you use. But in our case, we're talking about Amazon Workmail. And obviously, so really what you do is you come in here. I'm in cal.com now, and I'm looking at, these are their different integrations that they support as far as connecting to the calendars. They can connect to the Apple Calendar, like on your iPhone, or if you're in that Mac universe. CalDAV is like a open source kind of protocol. I think a lot of the people in the Linux community use. ICS feed is sort of a standard, but Google Calendar, of course. But I'm going to come down here and select Microsoft Exchange. Okay, and so I'm going to say install the app, and then it's going to ask me for the URL and what kind of authentication we want to do. So now this is it's not really tricky because it's still kind of easy. But this is the key thing that you need to do at this point. You need your Microsoft Exchange endpoint. And this is sort of like the same thing that if you were going to set up um like really connect Exchange to a mail client or something like that. Like we have it connected to our CRM and all of these different things like that. And you could see the page right here. So you could Google it, Amazon Workmail endpoints, or I'll put a link in the description as the YouTubers say. So if you look down here, auto discover, you don't really worry about that. That's what a lot of your fancy apps like Outlook and like your iPhone and I would imagine Android use where you just put in your, your like you point it to the right place and it figures out what to do. But what you want is one of these where it says ASMX at the end. Okay. I don't know what that's like Active Sync. I think it's Active Sync Mail Exchange because the protocol used to be called Active Sync that Microsoft uses. Now, you need to make sure you're in the right mail region wherever your work mail is set up. So ours is set up in Virginia. So uh, this is the one we want right here. So we want this where it says US Mail East Exchange 1 ASMX. So I'm going to copy this and paste it in here. Okay. Now, another thing that I figured out is this NTLM doesn't work. I mean, it might work, but it doesn't work for what we're doing. So I'm going to switch to basic authentication, and then you need to select which Exchange version you have. And you're going to go, well, I have Workmail. I don't have Exchange. So, and I actually had to fool around with this and figure it out. So you need to come in here and I think I figured out is this one. Let's try it and see. So so here's you got your URL for Amazon uh, Workmail there. Then you have your own email address. Now, this is not your email address necessarily for whatever your cal.com account is. It may be the same one, um, but it's whatever your email address is with Amazon Workmail. Okay, so basic authentication. And then I have Exchange version 2010. In the future, it might change to a different one. So this is 2025, and maybe in 2027, it might be one of these other ones. But right now, I'm going to have 2010 Service Pack 2. Okay. And I'm going to click on Save, and it's going to try to connect. What's this mean? It doesn't work here. So let's try 2013. No. 2010 Service Pack 1, 2010. 2013 Service Pack 1. Why do I keep getting this unauthorized? 2015. I know that's not it. 2010, 2007 Service Pack 1. Okay, I changed it back to 2010 Service Pack 2. Bingo. I'll tell you what was wrong to give you the suspense was the and actually in a way I'm kind of glad this happened because it might happen to you. The last screen auto filled in my cal.com email. I mean, my cal.com uh, password. And it's not, and what I needed to put in there, like I explained, was my Amazon Workmail password. So now you can see that it's connected, and then I'm going to turn this calendar on, which means it's going to look at my Amazon Workmail calendar to check for appointments and things like that, and to see if I'm available. And if I come up here, I can look at, and you got it, all this other stuff you can configure. It's beyond the scope here. That's one, it's easy, and two, there's plenty of instructions and support and how to do that. But if I if I look at my calendar, let's see, copy public page link, and I'm going to look at my calendar up here. Okay. And I say, okay, I want to schedule a 30-minute meeting. Um, So I know what my schedule's like the rest of the day. Look, I've got a bunch of meetings. So here's where I'm available today. Uh, yeah, I have a meeting at at 2 o'clock. But Friday, I'm going to show you. I already know, and I just connected just now. You guys saw me, but I already have a bunch of meetings scheduled for this Friday. And so if I click on this, it should only give me a few availability slots for this Friday. So let's see if it's properly syncing up with my calendar. Oh, the suspense. So yeah, we can see here for a 30-minute meeting, you see at 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 10 a.m., and then there's nothing available until 2 p.m. That's because I have a 10:30, actually 10:40, but you don't know that in the calendar. It would still be this one. So 10:30, 11:30, then we've got our noon staff meeting, then we've got our 1 o'clock meeting with the major client, and then you can see that the whole rest of the afternoon I'm available. So there's a gap there, and that's because I know that on my calendar I'm not available. Tomorrow I'm out of away from my desk. I'm at a an event all day, so that's why Wednesday and Thursday are blocked off because I have meetings. I'll be away from my desk all day, both days. And so it's properly blocked off. So now we can see that it's working. So I have just demonstrated that cal.com integrates um, with Microsoft. I mean, not Microsoft, with Amazon Workmail. It may work with other um, platforms as well using the exchange protocol, but remember the keys. You've got to go and do manual authentication. You've got to put the right endpoint in there. You've got to select the right version of Exchange because Amazon Workmail is sort of like it's either managed Exchange or it's kind of emulating Exchange. There's a technical difference. I don't know which one, but it doesn't really matter. But the point is that you can see that yes, you can use Workmail and you can use those calendaring features with outside integrations and outside programs. In this case, specifically cal.com, but it should also work with, I mean, just like, and this is the same thing. It works with smartphones like Samsung or with Android. It works with iPhone. It works with um, Microsoft Outlook. I imagine it works with Thunderbird, which I think is the open source version. You can connect it with other different things. And so you're not limited to IMAP and SMTP. You can also use get the full functionality with the Exchange emulation, where it will pass not just calendar information, like in this case, but it will pass um, task information and everything that's really in that Microsoft Exchange ecosystem. It shares it. I have an iPhone. It shares the tasks with my iPhone iOS system. It shares the calendar information with that. And so this is a really cool thing. Now, I've been experimenting with cal.com and it seems to work great. I like it. We're adopting it. We're at the very beginning stages, but we're adopting it as a company. One of the cool things about it is that Like I said, they're not sponsors or anything like that, but we talked to one of the co-founders. They're another small business. They seem like super nice guys. And so, unofficially, I would say check them out. It's also very inexpensive. You can set up a freeware version, which we did, and it works. I'm not freeware, but if you're technically competent, you can set up a version. Um, we did an AWS light sale server instance with, like, I think either 2 or 4 gigabytes of RAM, and we had it up and running. We have it up and running, and it's working just fine. The reason that we went ahead and set up a an account is because we're doing some fancy things and we want access to the API. And we also have a small team. So we actually don't need the features of the team edition, but if you have a sales team, it has some really cool features, like you can only schedule meeting when everybody's available, or like an outside person, like how I can click on this and schedule a meeting, like, oh, schedule a meeting with Lauren Moss. So you can set it so that it will only schedule a meeting when everybody who needs to be there is also available. Or then, like, let's say you have a sales team and inbound leads are coming in, and you have like 5 people, then it'll go around and distribute the leads to like the next person up, which is really cool. And we probably will need that as we grow, being optimistic. But in you know that's sort of behind our decision here with Cal. But the cool thing, the really big thing for me is, I don't know why Amazon, with all their technical brilliance, does not either know or officially support the interconnectivity between Amazon Workmail and these outside functions. Because we were at the point, if this didn't work, we were probably going to have to at some point consider migrating away from Amazon Workmail, because we really need these features. And I'm so glad that it not only does it work, but it's easy. You can see this. I set it up, and I'm no tech person. So there you go. Hopefully this has been helpful. If so, I appreciate it with a like, to help other people find it, of course, and for my own vanity. So that's a nice way to say thank you. If you have a comment, please leave a comment. If you have a question, I'll try to answer it, even though I want to emphasize I am not a computer programmer. I consider myself a technically competent person, uh, who is, but not a programmer. Uh, Please subscribe if you are interested in my other videos where I cover a bunch of different things, such as global services, the outsourcing sector, uh, site selection with the focus on developing economies, um, the different publications we put out, such as Cognitive Business News, which is the journal of record for outsourcing and global business services. We also publish Finance Americas, which covers the Caribbean and Central America. We publish Finance Colombia, and then I write about some different interesting things with projects from time to time. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you uh, for watching and for finding this, and let me know if it worked for you, and also let me know if it didn't work. So let's kind of keep a record of this as a informal support forum for people that are integrating Amazon Workmail with outside things. In this case, specifically calendaring functions like cal.com. So thanks a lot.